going on, Pinball Land? Welcome. It's episode number 19 of Flip N Out Pinball podcast. Greg Bone is here with me. I'm Ken Cromwell, and today we're going to do our best to inform and entertain for the next 30 to 60 minutes or so. Talk a little pinball, talk a little life. Greg, how's it going, man? How are you, buddy?
Doing good, man. A little early. Well, actually, it's not early. I'm just sipping some coffee, though, still.
You're a coffee drinker.
I love coffee. I can do away with everything, man. I could not drink beer. I don't drink much beer anymore. I can cut out most things in my life. Coffee? Nope. And it's not the, I mean, this is going to sound counterproductive here or whatever, or counterintuitive. I don't even know what I want to say there. But like, it's not like the caffeine. I don't feel like I don't care about sodas. I don't care about, it's just like the taste of coffee. I just love it.
Yeah. What about, could you ever switch to like a decaf?
No, I think it tastes different. And for some reason, I swear that I read somewhere that the process of decaf, like the way that they decaffeinate coffee and tea, is like something really weird about it. I'll have to try to find that article and send it to you. Like I'd seen a couple things one time that is like, it's some weird process and it's not necessarily good for you to drink decaf stuff.
I'm a Diet Coke drinker. That takes the place of my coffee. I used to like coffee, and then I developed a caffeine sensitivity at some place down the road. So if I just have like a regular cup of coffee, I'll be all keyed up and have anxiety for like a day and a half. It's the weirdest thing.
Caffeine's not good for you.
It's weird.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
caffeine's good for you, but it's just like in moderation. But for whatever reason, I don't process it well anymore. So, and there's so much more caffeine in a cup of coffee versus a Diet Coke. So it's like I would have to have 3 or 4 Diet Cokes, slam those fast. Anyways, I've got sensitivity to it, and it is what it is. But I do miss the taste of coffee. But even decaf has caffeine. So whatever.
I'm sorry. Sorry for your loss.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. It's good to be back. We had a couple episodes that we posted over at Patreon over the last couple weeks. I wanted to say welcome to our newest Patreon members, Brian, Colin, Josh, John, Aldi, and Edward, all coming in on Patreon. We appreciate it. If you want to go support the show and a little bit more of a special way, you can go to patreon.com/Flip N Out Pinball Podcast and check out what we've got over there. Greg, where do you want to go first? We posted something on social media earlier this week. We were asking people about their like pinball life hacks. We can talk about that a little bit. We also have news over at American Pinball with some new hires. We've got some spooky pinball news, which I think is really cool. Where do you want to go? How do we structure the show?
I am always along for the ride. I'm just along for the ride. You are my co-pilot. Yeah.
Fair enough.
You drive. It's like that in Fortnite when we play Fortnite. I'm just hanging out the window. You're driving.
Yeah, is that what you're doing? You're co-piloting. Let's start off at American Pinball. They put a press release out earlier this week. They've got a couple new hires. They hired Rob Rath as product director and Nick Netzel as product designer. These are the guys that I think co-founded the Electric Playground, which was like a topper company.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
So interesting. We've got Brian's building the team over there. They had Melvin Williams, who was brought on a couple weeks ago. You've got Ron Lindemann there. That's still, he's president, right? President of...
I believe so, or will be.
Yep. So they're building the team.
Yeah. Well, I got an email from a customer. He needed a part for his Houdini, and he had just reached out to let me know, a really good customer of ours. And he said, "Hey, Greg," he said, just FYI, check out the website for American Pinball. He said, they've got a ton of parts listed on there now. And he said, I literally got my replacement parts I needed for my Houdini in 4 days.
Oh, wow. That's really good, actually.
Yeah. Like what a drastic change that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's just one of those things, Brian kind of mentioned that. He's like, when we had talked to him or whatever, and I feel like he's fulfilling that promise of, hey, we might not be building a game right now, but there are things that we can do to improve this company, like warranty and tech support, getting parts out, listing parts, supporting the games that they have out there. So it does seem like that he is doing that.
I think overall that is definitely going to instill consumer confidence, customer confidence. But I think, and again, this is nothing. I don't want to directly compare American Pinball to any other startup pinball companies, but these are similar motions that we've seen in the past with some companies that maybe didn't pan out in the best way. And I think right now
you have to build a game. We got to see a game.
That's what I was going to say. That it's great to build the team. You need to build the team, but you've got to build the game. So I'd be curious to know what's going on the manufacturing side. Because this is the thing: if they don't have engineers over there, if they don't have somebody who's going to be able to take the entire pinball build and make it make sense in the order of assembly. Right, because it's not like IKEA where everything goes on the same.
Yeah, you
order
need somebody that knows
way.
what they're doing.
Right,
a production manager.
Mm-hmm. You're building, on the bottom side of the playfield first with T-nuts, and then you're flipping it over and you're putting posts and you're going back and forth. That whole thing is a symphony, and that the efficiency of the build is so important because that goes into what your bill of materials is going to be and your overall cost per game. If you're making 10 games a day, you're making drastically more money per each game if you're only making 6 or 8. And it's that initial build process and how it all plays out. Like, I'd be curious to know what's going on behind the scenes. And then you need the labor, obviously. With pinball assembly and manufacturing, it's I assume like anywhere else, it's like you're always hiring in manufacturing. You're always hiring to keep staff. And you've got that core group of people that go on to become supervisors and line leads But, then they come off of assembly and they're training new people and you're hoping to keep building the team, but it's very difficult to do. So rooting for American Pinball, for our interaction with Brian, he seems like a great guy. He's got business sense and he comes from a manufacturing background. How it correlates into pinball, we don't know, but I would assume that he's in a lot better spot than most people that came over that had no manufacturing experience and never ran a company. Yeah. So this is, I'm bullish on American Pinball. At this point, we are in March. We've got Texas Pinball Festival that's going to be coming up here in a couple weeks. I know that American Pinball will be there. I don't know if they're bringing anything, if they're revealing anything. Mm-hmm. The timeline for the end of the year is quicker than you think. So if a game's going to come out, you've got roughly 8.5 months to get a game out.
Yeah.
You think we see anything? And again, I would say Brian's not on the clock, with the exception of he kind of set some expectations about games coming out. And it's, I'm torn on it. Like I appreciate having lofty goals and setting yourself publicly accountable by saying, hey, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. That I appreciate that. But what ends up happening is if you don't meet those goals, now you're kind of playing behind the 8 ball a little bit and people start saying, oh, you're behind, you're slow. And I don't want that to be the case for these guys.
No. And I think, so at one point I kind of thought, I'm like, okay, you're doing, let's say you're doing Circus Voltaire and you're doing a remake that has to shave quite a bit of time off. Obviously, you're not going through the engineering, you're not going through, any of your design process, anything like that. So as long as you can lock down parts, lock down your manufacturing process, all of that, 8 months seems doable. But I mean, look at a lot of the, just something like Chicago Gaming. Sometimes it takes them a little bit of time to even get out stuff and parts for a remake. And look at some of these other companies that we know the game is designed. We have seen that game and it still can be a 6-month delay, whether it's due to parts, just their manufacturing process, anything else. So I kind of stepped back from that and kind of was like, it still might not be an 8-month thing.
I think it'd be extremely, if a game was in development right now, or even if they were getting parts for games, I think that'd be pretty tough to get a game out in 8 months, personally.
I think so too.
They got to build up all the sub-assemblies. And listen, you can have the schematics of all the parts that you need to build a remake, but you still got to set up the line for it. That's a whole thing. You got to do your pick. You got to order your parts. And we know firsthand, just dealing with other manufacturers that are dealing with delays, that parts are not always guaranteed to come in when they're supposed to. There's a delay. And with a pinball machine that might have, 1,000 individual SKUs and thousands of parts. Yeah. If you're missing one of those parts, that game can't leave.
No.
It shouldn't.
And it's like you said, sometimes
maybe it has, but it shouldn't leave.
Yeah, and it's like you said with like sub-assemblies and everything else. I mean, that's just so time consuming.
It is.
I know sometimes Stern can be a little behind, like anything that's a sub-assembly. Most warranty parts and stuff I get out pretty quick, but if it's an entire assembly, it takes some time because they've only got so many people that are dedicated, and that's very different than this, obviously, because this is manufacturing that one sole game. Stern could have 20 games at one time that somebody might need a sub-assembly for one of those particular games, but those sub-assemblies still take time and dedication to them. And that's like, it's a lot to go on. Let me ask you this, because I am curious about this now that you brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
From your experience, are the sub-assemblies, is everything being built kind of simultaneously, or do you start on sub-assemblies 2 weeks, a month prior to you taking things to a play field and populating the play field, or what have you seen, just because you're kind of front line and seeing, like,
in my experience,
out of curiosity?
You usually, at least from what I've seen, you get your sub-assemblies ready, because those sub-assemblies, maybe you're building out a couple hundred at a time. They've got to be ready for the order
and
process.
You just got those on racks,
goes down
like
the line.
there for the assemblers.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of times I believe that those parts for those sub-assemblies are coming in first. You're able to build those out and kind of get ahead a little bit, and that speeds up the process down the road. But as the playfield goes from one station to another, if you go to station 4 and the sub-assemblies aren't built, well, everything gets bottlenecked at station 4. You need to be able to grab sub-assembly off and
nobody beyond station 4 can do anything.
Yeah, well, you can, but maybe not something that's going to populate the playfield. Maybe you're building something else or a topper or something. It's just, but again, that's that whole kind of synchronicity is planned out, and that comes with a lot of experience. And if you have somebody that's coming in that's never done a pinball build, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's difficult. And I think even when you have something laid out and you start testing your initial builds, maybe you're building some prototypes. Prototypes typically don't go on the assembly line. They're in a back room somewhere, and they're kind of hand assembled. But there's always changes to the line that are happening when you figure out something that could be more efficient or something that could be done in a better way. As more and more games are coming out, that assembly is a little more tighter, and you're saving a little bit more time. And it's just muscle memory, right? Like, people are used to doing something, and they're able to do things more efficiently and quicker because they've got confidence. They don't have to reference a diagram maybe as much anymore. Those sort of things.
Well, and like you said, I mean, I still think that it would be valuable, even though things change, you find new processes. I'm sure it's particular to that game or just ongoing production. But like, I still think it's important to have somebody in there who's familiar with pinball production, just so you're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You're not spinning your wheel, sitting there thinking, okay, well, theoretically, this sounds like what we should do first, or we should do this first. And you might be just missing the mark altogether, to where somebody that at least has some experience, and like you said, okay, we need to populate T-nuts, we need sub-assemblies ready 2 weeks prior, then we would go in this order. This is when wiring comes in. I think to have somebody with that experience would shave months off of their initial build time of getting their first production game out.
Sure, and I would speculate that's probably something that Melvin Williams adds. If he was involved with the actual build process of Alice Adventures in Wonderland.
Yeah.
That was kind of his thing. So I assume that's kind of, I think he's creative designer over there, that, maybe he's not running that line, but it's like he kind of knows how that should fall out, I would assume.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens at American Pinball as they add to the team. Would be great to see a game by the end of the year, but if it doesn't happen, it's like, it's okay.
Don't rush it. Just don't rush it.
100% don't rush it. And, don't always feel compelled to have to reveal something at a pinball show too. That was something that, as an enthusiast, I would like to go to a pinball show, and I would like to see something that's brand new revealed for the first time. It just adds to the excitement. From a company standpoint, with the impact and effectiveness of good marketing and promotion online, I mean, that's your best pinball show. It's like just getting it in front of as many people as possible, and doing, coinciding a release at a pinball show and trying to rock it online is an undertaking that.
Well, no, you can have a lot go wrong at a show. Like, I used to be a big proponent for that. Like you said, as a hobbyist, I was a giant proponent for it. Like you said, like I would love to go to a show and there be unveilings of products of any sort, especially a game. But I just from a business perspective, I don't know if that is the best move anymore. There's too much can go wrong. Like, I mean, we see games that are in full-fledged production going in people's homes, and there's issues that come out. Like, you don't want that to be the first impression at a show. That can really hinder and hurt that game, because people don't. A lot of people don't come back from that for whatever reason. You know, even if there's a complete fix, if they had to deal with that issue, it somehow taints that game in their mind, or taint something with it, even though it might be a phenomenal game, and now it works perfectly with a corrected, fix kit of some sort. But yeah, I'm actually kind of against show releases anymore.
What about going to a pinball show as a company and making an announcement about a new game, but not having anything to show? Because the one thing that I notice, and this is just human nature, and I'm not speaking for anybody in particular here at any company, just as humans. If you're in the pinball industry and you are trying to lead the competition, and you go to a show and you don't have something new, you still want the buzz to be about you. You still want to be able to command attention when you walk into a room. You still want company interest at that show, because that's like a buzz. And if I'm a figurehead, or if I'm in leadership at that company, makes me feel good probably walking the floor knowing that my company is at the tip of everybody's tongue, and people want to ask me questions, and I can, playfully offer teasing and stuff like that. Is that beneficial from the company standpoint, do you think? Just like teasing your own future without having anything to show?
Two things. As long as we're not at that show and we can take orders. If we're at a show and a game gets announced, we're just fucked.
It sucks. It's bad. I know. I never.
Though, I think as long as you're not, it's not one of those things that you're jumping the gun and you're announcing a game just to be able to announce it and get that publicity, get that small talk, drive that buzz. I think as long as you've got games about ready to go, basically ready to go, and you're not waiting 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, within 3 weeks to a month, you're maybe even just shorter than that, 2 to 3 weeks, you're ready to start shipping those games. You're taking people's money. Then I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because I mean, it's really no different than releasing it on the internet as well. By showing, like you said, you don't have the full product there, but if you're releasing pictures, video,
well, even if you're not releasing pictures, but let's say you're like, hey, by the way, we don't have it here, but Twilight Zone's coming in the summer. Twilight Zone remake.
I think I want to see it. I think announcing it, that's fine. But again, the whole summer thing, no, because now you've kind of blown your load. You're just like, you're done. Like, because now you're waiting. You drove this initial hype and said Twilight Zone. Everybody's like, yeah, Twilight Zone. Been one Twilight Zone. Take my money. Oh, we're not taking your money right now. You got to wait months for me to take your money. Okay, so
you hit the nail on the head, in my opinion. If you ever officially announce a release in any capacity, you need to do two things. One, you need to be ready to take sales or deposits immediately.
Yes.
You don't announce a product without being able to complete a sale or get a transaction in the works. And then secondly, please consider giving your distributor network a little bit of a heads up, because guess what? If they're at that show and there's an announcement off the cuff, what do you do? Like, you're in the middle of a pinball show. You're not set up at home base. And I wish that some companies would take into consideration that if distributors are your sales force, and some distributors or some companies sell direct, but if you rely on distributors to sell some product, please consider working in unison with us when you're getting ready to roll out a product, so that we are ready to have all hands on deck and to be able to, facilitate all those customer requests and orders and things like that. When we're caught off guard and somebody's on vacation, or we're driving in a car somewhere and something gets revealed, we're caught off guard. It makes us look like we don't know what's going on. It becomes chaotic. We absolutely can't, put the customer's requests in the best spot, because we're trying to figure out what's going on. That's a very important thing, communication, when it comes to sales.
I agree, and I don't think a lot of people understand what it takes even for a launch, or what we go through. Just prepping the website, having the website ready to go with the product on there, just social media, any kind of social media aspect, advertising for that, getting the socials loaded up. It's a lot more time consuming than what you think. And then when we start initially taking those orders, I mean, it's a whirlwind for us. It's all hands on deck, like you said, and it's an all day thing taking those orders, fielding phone calls. And it's not just orders, it's answering questions. It's interest in the game that we're dealing with, and drives a lot of emails. There's so much of our time that I don't think people, understand. It's like, oh, those guys are just selling games. No, we are like a liaison for pinball. Like we are answering questions. We're dealing with people just kicking tires, people asking questions about their first game.
Other than the announcement, we're the first impression of the product, essentially. And if we're not well versed on it, if we don't even know what's coming.
Exactly. How do we answer some of these questions? Because now, at the same time that we're trying to take orders and do things, I'm trying to dig and figure out these questions. I'm trying to find answers. Hey, does this game come with a shaker motor? Does it come with Invisiglass? What's this mech do? How does this mech work?
Right. What is the price?
Price.
Another thing. It's like, okay. Yeah. It's hard to do. And please, if you're working at a pinball company and you're hearing us discuss this, it's not about us being aggravated or anything, but we're working with you. We're working as part of the team. So please include us include all the distributors on it, so that we can just be efficient with how we get a product rolled out. It reflects better on everybody at the end of the day, and that's just,
because we want to sell that. We want to sell that game as much as you. Obviously, we want to sell as many as possible, and you have to do that with being confident in that product and knowing information about that product, like you said, and having that heads up and feeling like you said, just rolling out socials. We're benefiting you with all those socials. It's like, we want to push that game. We want to bring your game to the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very well said, Greg. Speaking of pinball companies, there was some big news here a couple days ago for Beetlejuice owners.
Oh, so awesome.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Beetlejuice, made by Spooky Pinball. Game's been sold out within minutes of launch, for months. So the games are on the line now, and everybody's excited about getting their Beetlejuice, and they're starting to show up at customers' homes. Everyone's happy. Spooky decides, hey, you think you're happy now? Hold our beer, right? So they go out, and during this continued negotiation, they secure one of the songs that people wished were in the game. It wasn't the main song, but it was an important song, and that's "Jump in the Line."
Mm-hmm.
It's at the end of the movie. Winona Ryder's floating up on the back, and people always wish they had that song, but it wasn't a deal breaker because the game's phenomenal and it has everything else that you could possibly need. Spooky Pinball gets this, and they make that announcement on the Flip N Out Pinball stream with Joel and Jared on this past Wednesday night. Huge announcement. The reason I'm bringing it up, and I would love to have some back and forth with this, one, for a company to already have completed all of their sales and really not have to do anything else except support code and maybe some tech support and that sort of thing, for them to go out and spend more money to make less money on the games in order to make their customers happy speaks volumes. You don't see it a lot.
No, I was super impressed, and I don't think that I don't think consumers will understand what goes into that, because I think that song, I could be wrong, but I think that song was a lot of money. I think I don't think that it was an easy, simple, like, it was not originally in there kind of for a reason. But it's like you said, I was discussing that with Zach when I saw that on the stream, and him and I talked the next day, and that's what I told him. I said, you know what the thing is with them is they're like us. They are hobbyist first, and they are building these games for themselves.
That's great.
In a sense.
Mm-hmm.
But they want people to be happy. If they think it's cool and they can feasibly do it, like you said, even if it costs them money, they're going to put that in the game. And they want to make people happy. Like, they thrive. Like, I've watched those guys. They thrive on making their customers happy and bringing them stuff that other people do not. And that, to me, is why that it's okay for them. And they're just not greedy financially. I think those guys, like, they're very happy with where they are. They're happy with what they're doing. So it's like, hey, you know what? If we can make people happy, it makes us happy. We look fucking awesome. Guess what? Throw the money at it. Let's get the song. We're getting the song.
They feed off of that, like, community engagement and positivity, and it's great to hear, because if you think about it, I think they value that goodwill more than they do sometimes maybe maximizing profits. And again, it's rare to see it. It's refreshing to see it. I love it. Because if I'm an enthusiast and I'm kind of doing some reading on companies and looking at products, obviously you have to have something I'm interested in. But then to see, like, the level of support and the level of effort that goes in even after these games are sold out, like that makes me want to be a supporter for life until they prove me wrong. Like I'm all in on that.
Well, I've always said this about them because owning a Halloween fairly early on, well after that game was done, they were still polishing code. They were still updating code. They were still adding things and doing. There was absolutely no reason to. They really weren't selling the things.
Remember, Rick and Morty came out, and it was when it was released. It was a big I think at the date that Rick and Morty was officially revealed, they had sold more games in one day than any other game in their company history, like on a single sales day. And then they made the announcement after they made these sales, hey guys, we got something extra for you. We're going to include this Rick and Morty topper. And it was a little motorized topper. And again, it was free. They never had to reveal any of that. They had everybody's money. They already could have factored in their profits. They could have saved themselves, I don't know, $50, $100 more per game. Maybe in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't like propel them to go out and get their own personal jet. But it's just, again, it's good. It's like a little surprise on the back end. This is a very nice surprise, Clark, with this, this song that's being added. I also think it was cool, and I appreciate it too, because again, Flip N Out Pinball, we're doing our part to help promote a game for a partner of ours that we value, and they value our relationship, and they valued our relationship enough to say, hey, you know what? If these guys are going to go out of their way and help to promote the game with this stream, because Joel and Jared do an amazing job with streaming. They've got a huge following.
Great.
They've built that up and they deserve it. And I respect the hell out of both of those guys. Likeable guys, professional guys. They do a great job. But Spooky found the value in that, in the relationship to say, let's go ahead and share that big, and I think it's important news on that stream. And Spooky Pinball, Bug, Luke, Morgan team, thank you. That means a lot. Yeah. The appreciation is reciprocated as we continue to do our best to spread the good word. I will include a link to this stream, and you can go to YouTube and you can follow Flip N Out Pinball. That's where the streams are posted. I'll include a link there because, I mean, for whatever reason, this was not covered anywhere else in any of the more popular sites that you would go to get up-to-date news, especially with streams and information of companies. So I'll go ahead and I'll do that on our end. But I encourage you to jump in and check it out. It's good times, man. It's a great vibe. You're smiling. I'm smiling. I love it. I love it. Good times. So we asked our Facebook community and Patreon community about their pinball life hacks, anything they could share. We had about over 100 replies on this. As usual, some are witty.
This community turns out.
Yeah, man. Some are funny. They do a good job, so we appreciate it. I pulled 10 of them. Some of them are witty. Some of them are funny. Some of them are actual life hacks. I'll throw them at you. We can talk about those, and then if you have one or two at the end, let me know. I've got one or two that I would like to share. This first one comes from Kevin Cody Jr., and his pinball life hack is smart plugs with Alexa. It's the biggest dork flex for me to walk down the stairs and say, hey, Alexa, turn on Jaws.
I like it. Actually, I got some. Well, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, I've smart homed everything pretty much in the house, and especially in the game room. I'll have it where it's just like, hey, Alexa, turn on pinball machines, and boom, everything's on, which is cool. It's convenient. You're not having to reach behind or reach at the head, especially if you've got a whole game room wired in. Yeah, hey, turn on the game room, boom. So I like that life hack.
Yep, I use it too. I got it by rooms. Just I got pins kind of spread out, so I'm like, Alexa, turn on Arcade 1. Turn on Arcade 2.
Because their skills are disabled. You can find skills.
I hear her talking back there. She's turning on some stuff. That's why you can't say it. You got to be like, Alexa. Because like she knows. Actually,
she'll hear everything.
It updated itself to like this AI assistant, and it's got a different voice, and now it's engaging with me. It's like I'll walk in the kitchen and they'll be like, hello, Ken. I'm like, oh, what's going on?
But
anyways,
delayed.
Vincent Blanc. Yes, mine is delayed too. It's not as quick on the on those replies for the Amazon device because I can't say the name because it's going to be like, are you talking to me? What can we do? Let's go. The next pinball life hack goes for it's Vincent Blanc says left flipper plus start, which if you know, you know. Do you want to explain what that is?
Yeah, you're resetting.
For those that don't know, this is Yeah,
you know how
go
much
ahead. I'm sorry,
I
I cut
use
you off.
that? Because I cannot stand having a bad ball 1. Hey, listen, I know it could be a
Yes.
bad ball 1, great ball 2, great ball 3. No different than great ball 1, great ball 2. Could be a bad ball 3. But if I do not get a good start, I am resetting that game every damn time. I've got so many 1-ball plays on all my machines that I just get pissed. I can't stand
I'm
not
the same
starting a
way,
game
man.
right.
So yeah, if you hold the left flipper and you press start, it'll reset the game and start new with it. You don't have to go into the coin door and try to get into the service menu or turn
Or
the
shut
game
the
on
game
or off.
off,
It's just,
anything else.
it's a quick fix. What I started doing though, because I didn't like the fact that I kept resetting games after ball 1. I'm not a very good ball 1 player, evidently. Like it's ball 2 or ball 3 for me. On games that I would get a house ball on ball 1 or just have a bad ball 1, I would dedicate balls 2 and 3 to just focusing on the shot that's the most difficult for me on that play field. Because then I'm not worried about scoring and I'm not worried about hitting modes. I'm just worrying about like concentrating and dialing in the flipper and the ball.
Yeah.
And that's actually helped tremendously. So if you don't want to hit start, it's usually quick because those are hard shots. Try that out. The next one comes from Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago. And Abe says, if your basement floods, put 7-Eleven Big Gulp cups under the legs. And I know somebody that actually did this too. They got cups, they put them under the legs. You put the legs inside the cups where the little leg levelers and they're sitting at the bottom of the cups. And if you get half-inch water, inch water, 4 inches water in that basement, you're never having water hit those legs.
Yeah.
And it never rusts out. Now, I will say this. Probably
You have
not
to
the
be
most
proactive,
pleasant,
though.
probably not the most pleasant aesthetically when you walk into your nice game room and you're like, what? Why are these pins and
Well, that's what I'm
solo
saying. You have
cups?
to be ahead of the game, or your basement's got to be in the process of flooding for you to get
That's
ahead
an
of
excellent point. So you wouldn't have those in place in perpetuity where you're always going downstairs and you just have like dust and hair collecting in this big gulp cup
You
for
know,
years.
though, somebody's going to be like, that's a great idea. And I've been terrified about my basement. They just leave big gulp cups on their
Yes.
legs all the time.
How about this? How about we do a mod? Instead of like the pin gulp, it's like the leg gulp or something. And we just
Do
sell
you
like
have
little
a
plastic
basement that's
containers.
prone to flooding?
Or
We've got you covered.
We sell leg levelers that like cup up on the side.
Yeah.
So it just
In case you
keeps
get
water
2
out.
inches.
That's right. All right. Next up, Pinball Life Hack comes from Nick Lane, our buddy at Buffalo Pinball. Nick, what's up, buddy? Good to hear from you. And he has a 1-word response for his life hack, and it's simply deodorant.
Yes. Yes. The unbelievable stench at any arcade show.
Yes. There is a foulness, a stench, a pungent smell of
And some
body
shows
odor and sweat at times.
are worse than others. Some shows there are some shows that are worse. I will not name the ones that are worse.
Yep.
But there are ones
I
that
know.
attract less deodorant than others.
I noticed the shows with the higher ceilings tend to have better ventilation. I'll put it to you that way.
You need a big
And for those that
exhaust,
don't know
like-
what we're talking about, there's when you get into a show and you're hanging out all day and 12, 14 hours on the floor and people are playing pinball and walking and drinking.
And you just got a lot of people that choose to just not wear deodorant.
Or use soap sometimes.
That's true too.
Next Pinball Life Hack comes from Dallas O'Rear. Dallas says, don't be blinded by themes and IPs. Your favorite theme may be far from your favorite game. Elton John never would have been my first choice, but it is fantastic.
I get his point. I think theme is still. I always sell that to people with that. I always tell new pinball people or new customers that come in. I'm sure we've addressed this before, but I always say, hey, listen. Let's say that you've got something like Godzilla that's a 10 out of 10, and then you've got another game that is 8 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10. If you like that theme tremendously better than Godzilla, it's still not a bad game at 7 or an 8. That game to me is going to stick around in your collection longer than what Godzilla will.
I agree 100%.
But I see what Dallas is saying with it though. Like, don't be blinded. Don't just only like open yourself and have an open mind. Think outside the box if it comes to
don't be
great
dismissive
point.
of a game because the theme doesn't appeal to you.
Yes, exactly.
There are plenty of games where the theme didn't appeal to me that I ended up loving. Baywatch is one of those where I'm like, fuck, I don't want.
Well, but I think Godzilla.
Baywatch,
I think Iron Maiden. You take a lot
Sure.
of Elwin games. Elwin is like the king of pulling. I mean, Iron Maiden's a huge band, but it wasn't everybody's cup of tea. And Godzilla, everybody's fine with Godzilla, but nobody wanted a Godzilla. So look at that way he was able to elevate those titles with such a good game.
Do you think there's a conscious effort from Stern Pinball to put Keith on maybe less desirable themes because they realize that, you know, what he's going to bring to the table ultimately will win people over?
I don't want to speak for them, but it almost seems that way to me because it's like they keep him off of some of. Well, I say that, but look at Jaws. Jaws was it's a huge IP.
Sure.
But it does seemingly like that they throw him on things because they know that he is so good and that his name is going to sell a product and catapult it and make people give it a chance. Because that's the thing is you stick somebody that people don't have confidence in, or they just don't know that designer, they don't know that team so well, and you couple that with something like Godzilla, most people won't want to give it a chance. So whereas now it's an Elwin game. Okay.
Yeah. For sure.
I don't give a shit what it is. I'm going to give this game a try because Elwin has not disappointed me.
Yeah. And, you know, Dallas, he goes ahead and he cites Elton John specifically, and I couldn't agree more.
That game took everybody by surprise.
I appreciate Elton John
game
for what he is, and as far as songs, like I'm familiar with the.
Yeah, but nobody won an Elton John pinball machine.
No.
But Steve did such a good job on it that people loved it. Yeah, nobody said a bad thing about that game. We've sold so many to people that with that exact sentiment, it was like, I really like that game. It wasn't something I ever thought about, but I really liked it. I want to buy one.
Yeah, and it's Steve Ritchie. It's great flow.
Yeah.
Great rules by Bill Grupp. Shout out to my buddy Bill. He did an outstanding job, and the whole team did a great job on that game.
It's one of Steve's better games.
I would agree, and it's great for JJP because they needed a game that shot like that. And
I think it's great for Steve to be doing this so long, and you still create one of your better titles this late in your career. Fucking amazing.
If you've heard Steve talk, Steve wasn't exactly all in on the theme when he got it either. Steve doesn't like cute. He likes tough. He likes fast. Elton John isn't necessarily in his wheelhouse for top 10 themes, but as he got, involved into the whole creation of the game, loved it, man. Knocked it out of the park. He did a great job.
But how important is that, not to keep this conversation dragging on, but how crazy is that with that? Because I think often, I've heard of rumors and stuff of people just not wanting to work on particular games and just getting removed from them, or just getting pissed off and not giving it everything. So like I think that's even more of a testament to that game, the fact that Steve really wasn't into it and still gave it what he did and created kind of a little masterpiece with it, versus just being like, I don't like it, like I'm doing this shit, and just
Steve likes
you know
pinball.
what I'm saying, like no effort into it.
For sure. That is a sleeper title, and actually, I can't even say it's a sleeper title anymore because try to buy one
it's
right
popular now.
You can't get a collector's edition. You don't really see platinum editions come up. I went out. I got a collector's edition Elton John. It's not here anymore, but I loved it when I had it. It's a great game. All right, back to the topic. We got a few more here. Matt Jusiak says, Pinball Life Hack: don't include new people to the hobby by having them play a machine that needs a half-hour tutorial on how to play it. And I agree with that. And my angle on this is, if somebody's going to step up to a pinball machine for the first time, dude, the last thing you need is somebody standing over the game and say, okay, so this is what you need to do. You're going to hit this shot. And it's overload. Nobody's thinking about that. Dude, I've been playing pinball forever, and I'll have somebody where they'll offer to explain something rules wise. Cause look, I don't deep dive these rules. I know the basics, and then I learn over time. But when somebody's like, okay, so we're gonna stack this for the multiplier, and it's just like wow. I don't care.
Even like you said, like seasoned people though, a lot of people don't want to hear it. They don't give a fuck. They just want to explore the game themselves.
Yeah, so it's like, I would agree. If you got a neighbor over, they never play pinball, they don't want a 20-minute, this is what you got to do. Just let them play. Tell them to aim at flashing stuff.
I talked to a new customer literally this week that was talking about, hey, we got this game, Greg, and we're looking at our second one. And hey, listen, I know that there's like some rule stuff with all this and stuff. Like right now, we're just flipping. we're flipping and trying to keep the ball alive. And we're having an amazing time, but I understand that there's like, these rules. And I'm like, yeah. So like, I kind of gave him a brief tutorial and just explained what rules were in the game. And he was like, that's amazing. He's like, that opens it up so much more. And I said, yeah, exactly. I said, if you're already having a great time, like you're going to be blown away. Like when you start to learn rules and you start to focus.
That's exactly right. So many people that are interested in pinball, or maybe they've dabbled, rule number one is don't drain, right? And that's it. But when you start explaining, or they start realizing that, hey, I can actually explore this game. I'm unlocking things, new things I'm going to see, I'm going to hear. It changes everything. And that's when we got him by the hook, Greg. Coming back for that second game. It's like, oh, I didn't realize that Comet, like I could do something. It's like, yeah, here, don't worry about this. Let me blow your mind. All right. The next one is from Matt Owen, his Pinball Life Hack. Level the games. You'd be surprised how few machines I play are level. And Greg Jones recommends on his Pinball Life Hack the Pin Guy Leveler app, which helps you level the machine. If your machine is not level, you're not getting the full benefit. It should be leveled and it should be pitched correctly. Because a lot of shots won't line up if it's not level and if it's not pitched correctly. And a lot of times you have a clunker.
Oh, exactly. You take something just like Katana shot on Deadpool. I mean, there's a lot of shots that are like, okay, this is very important.
Oh, that's a great example.
Yeah. Like all my location games, anytime I go to clean them or I go to mess with them, I'll re-level them, just especially on location, because they get scooted around so much and just in a little slightly different place, because a lot of places in, a bar or restaurant or something, the floors are it's a commercial space. It's not necessarily the most level floors. So they just get moved over an inch or two sometimes, and it can throw off. It can throw it off quite a bit. So I'll try to re-level my games.
You got concrete and I mean, that's not all perfectly level. Your foundation settles a little bit.
Yeah.
It is super important. And look, don't take it for granted, because I will too. I'll eye it a lot. I'm looking at the top of the back box and I'm making sure that it's like parallel with the seam between the wall and the ceiling. I'm like, oh, that looks pretty level. And
I will give a confession that you're not supposed to do that I always do. Like I never level off my playfield.
What do you level off of?
I'm telling I'm spot on. My games play perfect.
Are you talking about pitch or east to west leveling?
Pitch I'll use unless it seems way off, just because I know the bubble in a game can be wrong. But I go off pitch with my bubble level in the game.
I got you.
I typically don't use my digital on that, but I'll always get my readings off the lockdown bar and the back trim piece. So I'll go on the glass at the lockdown bar, and that's where I level off of at my front, and I go to the back butted right up against the trim.
Dude, some of these lockdown bars, depending on who you're dealing with, they're not the most level things
I'm
either.
telling you, like I can go to that playfield. Like I don't know if I just always get lucky, but I have, and it's super quick, because here's the thing is like when you try to level off that playfield, you have to have something to set on top of your slings or something. Like, because if you're not literally exactly freaking horizontal, you're going to be skewed in your measurement. So you have to have something relatively straight to go off of. You know what I'm saying? Because if your level's turned at all, it skews it. And there's a lot of times there's not artwork on there that has.
I don't think that lockdown bar is very level though, man.
I'm telling you.
You know what my tried and true method is? Go to the highest part of the middle of the playfield and just drop a ball and see if it goes left or right.
Oh yeah,
That's what I usually do. Yeah. That's my quick down and dirty. Let's get this thing leveled out. And
I know I'll get backlash, but I do.
Well, and if you want some help, you can go. That Pin Guy Leveler app is I think it's on Apple or Android or both, and it calibrates so that it knows when it's level. You put it on your playfield, and you go under the machine, and it talks to you. So it's like left, right. Yeah. So you know what you're raising, and it's like level. So that's kind of cool if you don't want to go back and forth. Check that out. Greg, you ready for another one?
Mm-hmm.
How about two or three more? Charles DeSano. He says, never place tempered glass on concrete.
No. Dude, I bought those because a friend of mine had them, and I would just always very gently place or fold up a shirt or something. But it's those corner protectors, those little rubber corner protectors for glass that you can buy. Dude, they're super cheap. Like there is absolutely no reason for anyone to not own those.
That's a good life hack.
Oh, they're amazing. They are the most amazing. Like I don't have to worry. Like it's so soft. You literally just slide your glass down, you just boop right there, and then you're good to go. Like I just don't know why I didn't get them before. Like get those fucking protectors.
Yeah,
like, they're
that's
amazing.
a good idea. You know, and for those that might not understand the angle we're talking about, when you slide your playfield glass off, you've got to set it down. You're not going to set it flat on someplace because that's just going to get all dirty, right? So you're going to set it usually, edge down, and it's going vertically. The problem is the most vulnerable point of that glass is the edges and the corners.
Yeah.
So if you nick that corner or nick that edge the wrong way on something hard like concrete, it's tempered. It's going to explode. You're going to have 400 million pieces of glass all over the place.
It looks like ice. It looks like
it's going to scare the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Also, but to your point, if you've got the corners protected or you rest it down on a towel or something, as long as it's not going to slide, you're in good shape. But be careful with that glass. Same thing with be careful where you're putting back glasses. Those corners can be vulnerable. I've actually had that happen where I was trying to jam a back glass in and it exploded all over me.
Shattered going
and
in.
that scared me. I remember that pretty good. That was scary. Emily Gross has a pinball life hack. She says, don't forget to take your balls out when moving a pin or lifting your playfield all the way up.
I got another life hack for that.
Well, Jersey Jack has a gate that closes when you lift your playfield.
Which I love. But Stearns do not. And I used to always take my balls out. I'd lay them in my lockdown bar. I'd move them somewhere. I do not remove my balls. Transport, I will, like if I'm transporting. But if I have to raise my playfield, I take a sock and stick a sock in there. Or a microfiber cloth. Like I don't know why.
Do you take your shoe off and then take the sock off that you're wearing on your foot, or do you have an extra sock?
I would rather pull the sock off my foot than take those balls out and have to put those balls back in. But here's the thing that you have to do though. Sometimes it jars them in the trough a little bit, and they're not on switches. So you might have to still eject one or two out once you lower your playfield back down, because then that way the balls will all settle in there correctly. Because otherwise, even if you try shaking it and everything else, it's throwing an error that you're missing a ball. So you still might have to pop a ball up.
We need the Greg Bone pinball kit where it comes with a couple of those corner protectors, and then it comes with like one of those little stress balls that you can squeeze and kind of jam into that trough. And
that would work too.
Something small. We got to come up with a kit.
Yeah,
because that's good.
It just saves so much time just shoving something in there real quick, and you're just not having to pull those balls out. You're not having to worry about a ball rolling off, somebody kicking something. Like that is one of the number one things that I started using. That I'll never pull balls out of a game again unless I'm moving it.
She also recommends don't cut the wrap off until you're up on the legs. So that's when you're setting up your game and your back box is wrapped or it's banded. Do not, when that game's in a vertical position up on its back. I've done this once too, Greg. And this was something where I was a seasoned veteran at this point, and I was trying to get a game set up real quick for Thanksgiving. Brand new game. Cut the banding with the game up in the vertical position, and I just watched that back box.
I released a strap one time and it did that. Luckily it didn't break it. It hit a chair behind it. So it didn't go all the way to the floor to bang off the floor, but I got lucky.
I will say this, it was a Stern pinball machine. The whole head slammed, the back glass shattered. I was devastated because I'm like, well, none of this is going to work. Nope, set it right up, worked fine. I just had to get
solid.
Had to get a new back glass and a new translite.
Somebody dropped their jaws down the steps. It was on a forum page that I saw. It busted the head a little bit. The game still worked fine. Literally lost that son of a bitch down their entire stairs. Like busted the head. But I think he was able to replace and glue. But he said game works perfect. Yeah.
Sterns are tough, man. You just roll them down the stairs, plug them in. Might have some cosmetic damage. Emily also has. She says, don't forget your pool noodles when you fold the head down. It's kind of interesting. Little cushion between the head and the rails.
Pool noodles I don't mind, but I still feel like that could be abrasive. I'm a little nervous because never use cardboard. Everybody out there, never ever use cardboard. Cardboard is super abrasive. So
what do you recommend to stack between the head and the rail?
I use an old cotton shirt, like because anytime like the kids outgrow clothes or they do anything else, like I keep a giant bag in the garage, old socks, something else. Because
you're just like naked setting these games up, tearing them down.
I'll use old socks for like staying because I do a lot of projects and wood projects and stuff. So like I always
Chelsea comes downstairs. She knows you're working on the playfield because you got one sock on. She's like, oh, what happened down here? It's like,
most people will get my games with like an old like kids t-shirts underneath there. But just something soft like that, or even microfiber towels, like anything. But I see a lot of the pool noodle stuff, and I don't think I've ever. Zach would better be able to answer this than me, just because we get so many of our used games in. That if a pool noodle, but it seems a little abrasive. You know what I'm saying? Like it's soft, but it could be if it vibrates too much. But I know for a fact cardboard is a no-go. Never ever use cardboard.
And this is great too. If you're trading in a game to Flip N Out Pinball, we have a whole process with Pinball Armor where we're going to send that out to you. So it does all this protecting by itself. But if you ever are shipping a game, make sure that when you're folding that head down that there's proper protection, because two things will happen. One, if it's too heavy without enough cushioning, you're going to get dented rails from the top of the head, and that sucks. That's a big devalue on a game, and somebody's going to get your game and they're going to be upset because you've got dented rails. And then secondly, like Greg's saying, that powder coat and that clear, it's going to scuff if there's something abrasive. That head's shifting around during shipping, and when you're tightening it down, if you're using straps, you're scuffing that without even realizing it. So take extra precautions.
And with JJP games, those heads are built a little different too. So the way that the hinges and how heavy and the way that head sets, you almost need to protect it at the bottom of the head towards the back once it's folded down as well, not just towards the front like you would with a Stern or any of your normal games. You're going to want to protect that rail in the back too, because that can end up denting the rails if the game gets bumped too hard or anything in transit. And it just helps because those heads are so heavy. Sometimes you can split those heads. So, it's
so hopefully you're wearing sweatpants. You just take them off, you cut them in half, you put one leg on that covers the whole right rail and then one leg on the whole left, and fold everything down. It's good. We're going to have like this tearaway clothing system that helps you ship and repair your game. It's just like, whew, here we go. That's awesome. I love that. I would say a quick tip would be at some point, inevitably, you're going to have to do some type of an adjustment or even, a minor, sometimes like a more of a complex repair on your pinball machine. And when the playfield's up, or even when it's down, these screws that you're removing they're very small. And when a screw falls onto the playfield and rolls into a hole, sometimes it's gone forever. So please make sure that your screwdrivers are at least magnetic tipped. That'll give you at least the front line of defense where it's not going to fall down. That would be a tip that I have. And the other thing, if you're doing a repair or you're changing something out, take pictures of every step of the process so that when you're putting something back together, you can just look at your phone and reverse the order. That's helped me tremendously, and I think it's a tried and true tip. And then finally, Jersey Jack pinball machine owners, some of you might notice now, like your Guns N' Roses, maybe your Toy Story 4s, these games are not booting anymore. And it's not because the game is broke. It's because on the motherboard, there's a little battery. Well, if you change it out, you can get the game to boot. If you're going to be proactive and you want to change that motherboard battery out before the game is not booting anymore, do that when the game is on. Yes. Because if the game is on and you take the battery out and pop the new battery on, all your settings will be retained because the game has current for memory. But if you turn that game off and you take that battery out and put a new battery back on and turn it on, you're going to have to plug a keyboard in. You're going to have to go into BIOS. You're going to have to make a couple changes. Again, it's not the end of the world, but for those of you that had JJP games that are maybe over 2 or 3 years old, I would recommend just changing those batteries out, and I would do that with the game on.
And batteries do that in older games too. When I very first got into pinball and I had my Lost World and I went to swap the batteries, I turned it off because I'm like, I don't want to go plucking these out with the game on. It might mess something up. And little did I know that me not having the game on and changing those batteries out erased my high scores. All of my plays, I had nothing on there, and I was like, "Oh, I was devastated." Not the end of the world, but I was devastated.
It is. It's tough. You build that up, and then it's like, you know what it reminds me of? Our kids, when they grew up, in our master bedroom walk-in closet, we had like little tick marks like every 6 months, and with the dates to kind of see, how they grew over the years. I have 3 kids, so it was really cool. And then we had the bathroom redone like 2 years ago, and we weren't thinking about it. And they came in, and they painted over it. It was like pretty disappointing. Oh well. Not going to have any more kids to get that going. Knock on wood. But that's it. So those are your pinball life tips. You can check out the rest of the tips if you go to our Facebook page. It's Flip N Out Pinball Podcast. Over 100 comments there. Thank you to everybody who contributed. That was pretty awesome. We appreciate it.
There's a lot of good stuff on there.
So we're going to wrap up this episode of the Flip N Out Pinball Podcast. I want to remind everybody to go to flipnoutpinball.com for your new pinball or arcade machine today. Tons of new inventory, tons of games. We actually have some used inventory too on the Flip N Out Pinball Facebook page. There's a pinned post at the top. We'll show you what's currently in stock. Let's go ahead and check that out. A couple quick additional notes. We do have a couple spots left for both Pokemon Pro and Premium. That's going to be for the second run in May. So you're going to want to jump in and get your deposit in on that if you're interested. Also, Medieval Madness Merlin spots for 2026. They're available right now. If you want to get in there, flippinoutpinball.com, or email Ken or Greg at flippinoutpinball.com, and we'll take care of you and get your spot reserved. Harry Potter Arcade, Wizard, and Collector's Edition spots, they're available for the next month's run, and that's at the time of this recording, so if you put an order in today, you're going to have a game next month. Harry Potter's ready to rock and roll and invade your basement or game room. As far as inventory for existing games, there are a bunch of last ones available. This is not a ploy. This is not. We've got one left, because after one sells, there are no more. And those games right now, if you're looking at them, Funhouse Remake Limited Edition and the Classic Edition, we've got one left of each. Iron Maiden Pro, one left. Iron Maiden Premium, one left in inventory. Avengers Infinity Quest Pro, we have one left in inventory. Star Wars Comic Pro, one left. And Queen, one left. So if any of those games, if you're considering flipping out, we'd love to be your distributor. Come check us out and snag the last one. And guess what? When you do, you go back to the website and it's going to say out of stock. It's not going to say one more left. I promise you that. Finally, if you're looking to get a Pokemon, but maybe, the funds are a little tight, or maybe you just don't have the room right now because one's got to go to get another one in, well, go ahead and trade one in. We can trade in a used game towards a Pokemon, or if you want to grab that Harry Potter, or you want to get that Medieval Madness, because it is a rite of passage to own a Medieval Madness as a pinball collector, and to have the remake with the nice XL DMD, upgraded audio, RGB lighting, topper, etc. We will trade in the game. And again, trade-ins, you can hit up Greg at flippinoutpinball.com. Now, I'm running interest lists, so if you have an interest list that you want to get on for a game, you can email me, Ken at flippinoutpinball.com. Patreon, for those subscribers over at patreon.com/flippinoutpinballpodcast. You can go there now. You can register for free if you want. There's different tiers if you want to support the show. But Monday, the 16th, Greg, we've got our after hours evening on the schedule, and that's at 6 o'clock Central Time. So if you're over at Patreon and you're in tier 2 or tier 3, you're going to join us live. It's like a Google Meet. Kind of the community just kind of hangs out. We talk some pinball, share some stories. There's always a little bit of inside baseball that goes on in those conversations. Super fun. So Patreon members, get ready to jump in over there. Actually, we had the 2 episodes that we aired over the last couple of weeks over at Patreon. So if you're looking to get some more, if you can't get enough of the Flip N Out Pinball podcast, there's actually more over there.
And I have to say, Ken, I noticed you're looking pretty dapper in that new hat you're wearing.
Tell you what, I'm a hat guy. I love hats. Zach, he ordered these Flip N Out Pinball hats. And dude, they're amazing.
They are. Look, it does look really good. I'm not just BSing.
The logo is so nice, but it's not stitched or embroidered on, and it's not stamped on. It's like this textured 3D PVC kind of thing. I'm scratching my head. That's then really sewn to the hat. The hat's, it's not one of those big high riding hats where it makes you look like you got a big egg head, and the brim's not like totally flat where I feel like I'm a Major League Baseball pitcher. It's got a nice little mesh in the background. It's like a nice golf hat. It is really adjustable. Nice. You can go to flippinoutpinball.com and you can check those out. Listen, these hats were super expensive for us to make. We're not making money on the hats, really. It's just more about having fun with the brand. And if you just like a nice quality hat, I would definitely check it out. One reminder, Jaws 50th toppers, we are out of stock, and I think we're not getting any more of those in, right? Like, we're done with Jaws 50th for now.
I don't think so. I think we're done.
Yeah, so that's it. Man, Jaws 50th, it's sad it's disappearing. Next episode, Greg, I want to go back into the Pinball Power Rankings, because I think there's been some interesting changes. Yeah, me too. We're going to get back into that with more of a regular cadence. But that's it, brother. That's it. You got anything else?
No, nothing. Enjoy. Get out and flip. Play some pinball today.
We appreciate it. Whatever you do, don't forget to take some time out of your day to play some pinball. So long, everybody.
Great job.
Nicely done, brother.